Kia mamokos. Back with another Positive Past podcast. I think we're up to episode 7 today. Today we've got Marama. She's just another coastie that I've sort of like known through fucking parties, mutual friends and shit like that throughout the years. Just like Q and that. And you know, I like want to sort of get like the youngins on the pod because it's a lot of like your guys' generation and shit that are ultimately going to be affected, and like your like little sister and the generations below them. So it's just good to like get the younger generation on here to give their perspective on how they're looking at the world at the moment and everything that's going up because like I feel like older people, they're a little bit more gullible. They're like, we fucking had it way harder. I'm like,
Are
fuck,
they?
I don't know about that. Like, fuck, these young kids, man, they fucking got it rough at the moment. So
Mm.
I'll just get you to just introduce yourself real quick and just talk about a little bit about your background and where you're from and stuff like that.
All right. Kia ora whānau. My name's Marama. Yeah, like Tuhoi said, I'm coastie since like I was a baby pretty much. I'm 23 now though, 24 almost. Yeah, what am I up to these days? Working pretty much.
Yeah,
Still pretty young. I like did my level ones and left
yeah,
straight into mahi pretty much. And yeah, it's been doing that ever since really.
yeah.
Yeah, on
Well,
the
why
cruise.
why'd you leave school so early, eh?
Oh, like it's just like wasn't for me, eh? Like I
Yeah,
liked some of the classes and stuff like that like I enjoyed and like, actually got along with the teachers and stuff.
yeah,
And then the other ones I was just like had no interest at all and I was like ugh, like I just like wagged and because I lived like right across like you could like walk out the gate and my house was like right there.
yeah,
Like yeah, and like the teachers didn't really give a shit. So yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I left because yeah, I like got my level ones and then I was like at that age I was like 16 I think and I just like
yeah.
I was like I really like quiet and shy like
Mm,
introvert and I still am but
yeah,
coming out. Um so yeah, I was just like nah, this ain't for me. Rather
yeah,
just do what I want to do.
yeah, yeah. Heaps of people at that age though. Like I've got heaps of friends and shit who like, like it was I guess like a milestone when they hit their level ones, and they're like, bro, I'm fucking out of here. I'm gonna
Hard,
go do something else. And I'm like, what the
yeah.
fuck? Like a few of our boys like ended up like, going to do like a Shane Cameron fitness course, when they were like 16 or some shit. And like me and the bro has and I think someone else, probably a few of the other boys were just holding it down at school. And we're like, bro, fuck this shit. I can't wait to leave. But it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like everyone's just keen to get out of school, eh? I feel like it kind of just shows what the like educational system is like. It's
Yeah.
like, we should be wanting to learn. We should be wanting to stay. We should be wanting to, make the most out of it. But fuck, heaps of us are like, fuck this. I just want to gap it. I want to get into making money and shit. But I noticed that like now, everyone's like, fuck, what do I do to go back to school?
Boy,
Everyone's
straight up.
like, fuck, I'll be keen as to go back to school. I was like, fuck yeah.
I
But kind
know.
of like take it for granted though, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, even when I was like just starting to leave, like it was already like in my head that I was gonna leave, and then everyone was like, "Oh no, school's like the best time of your life." I was like, "Nah, but I'll like other shit,
Yeah, straight up.
do some other shit." But yeah, like you were saying before, with like after you get like your level ones and like like you're all good, like you can do some other stuff like out of school because yeah, like in the environment and like because like I did want to like learn stuff and like but like I was so shy like I wouldn't like be the one to like raise my
Yeah,
hand and like I'll just like wait for the teacher to like walk around and like I'll be like oh, excuse me but yeah it's all about like the environment I reckon and like
yeah,
still I don't know yeah
yeah. Because I feel like, like how everyone, when they get out of school, they live for the weekend. When you're in school, you just live for lunchtime, eh? you know, and
Yeah,
morning tea, you know, you're just like going to school just to catch up with the bros or your like girls or whatever. But there's
yeah,
probably some shit that they could probably do to like, I don't know, like liven up like the learning environment that you're talking about. Because like
mm,
it's just been the same shit for like, fuck, I don't even know how many years. Probably hundreds, you know, hundreds of years, and it's just been the same fucking pattern the whole time, you know, cunts dropping out left, right, and center, and just keen as
yeah,
to get into fucking mahi and shit. But
yeah,
I don't know, it's probably all designed that way for a reason, eh? Keep
yeah.
everyone fucking dialed down or whatever. Keep them at a certain level. They're like
Uh,
the government and shit want people at or whatever.
God, it's so sad.
Fuck, I don't fucking know.
Nah,
Um,
it's so sad.
fucking one thing I wanted to talk to you about, was when I seen you that day down at the beach walking with that young dude.
Yeah, yeah,
I was just buzzing out, like when I like seen you, I was just like buzzing out that I fucking even seen you down there. And then
yes,
when I was driving home, because I quickly asked you about it, and then when I was driving home, I was thinking about it. I was like, fuck, that's fucking buzzy ass. Do you want to just talk about that a little bit and what you guys are like, how you guys sort of like came to meet or whatever? Because it sounded like a pretty buzzy story, eh? Straight up.
wait, I was thinking like the exact same thing. Yeah, okay, so first, I was like, because I only live like up the road, like a 10-15 minute walk from like Manly Beach. And
Yeah.
then I was like at home and I had like a pretty long, like stressful week and day. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like take my little skateboard thing and like a little ride at Edith Hopper.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, this sounds pretty gay, but I was like kind of videoing myself, like just for like myself to like
Yeah.
see
Little TikTok.
if I'm good or not. Yeah, yeah. Wait. And then like yeah, I was down at Edith Hopper, and then that guy that you saw me with, he
Yeah.
was, like sitting down by the park, and then he saw me like videoing myself, and then he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, yo, do you have Snapchat or something?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh," like I couldn't hear him, and he's like, "Oh, hey," blah, blah. And then yeah, and then we like got talking, and then like he started doing backflips, and I was like, "What the
What
hell?"
the fuck? What?
I know.
Oh shit!
You go.
That
It's
white
like, yeah,
boy got moves, eh?
I know. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then nah, like he was all good. And then he was like, I don't know. I think he needed like company or like someone to talk to. And
Yeah.
like at that time, I was like, oh, like I've got so much shit like myself to deal with, but
Yeah.
I won't be a bitch. I won't like tell him to, piss off.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, like I guess we can like talk for a while and stuff. And then we did, and then we went for a walk down to the beach, and then yeah, and then we like walked to the end by like crossroads, and then
Yeah.
you pulled in, and then I was
Yeah.
wait, because I just saw like headphones like when you're driving, and then
Yeah.
you like pulled in more, and then I was like, holy shit, like I feel like that was like such a sign when I saw you that day, because I only messaged
Yeah.
you like, a few days like before that day or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
yeah, and then we like were talking about something, you and me, and I was like, oh, but like I don't know, I felt so like I don't know, like kind of awkward or weird when I saw you when I was with that guy because I don't even know that guy.
Yeah. But you're like
That would
introducing
have
him
been
like he's
like,
your bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Otherwise, I've been like, oh, yo, Tuho, like this is like I forgot his name, like sorry, but
Yeah.
uh,
We'll just
but
call
yeah,
him the bro.
yeah, like yeah, like the bro, yeah, yeah, and then yeah, but like yeah, or like if I was like by myself, I would have been like, I felt like we could have had more of a conversation about like this, but like that's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah. And then that happened. But yeah, and then like after that and I went home, I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, I was like worried because I was like, oh, maybe he like doesn't want me to like join his thing anymore, like the podcast or like I don't know, I just started like overthinking like really weird.
Yeah.
Like I was like, nah, it's too weird. Like he should be all
Yeah.
good.
Nah. Cause
Yeah.
I was like buzzing out. I was like, fuck, like that's fucking mean as. Cause like in our like quick like maybe minute 30 conversation that we had, like I took away from it that you had just met this dude. He needed like someone to talk to. I
Mm,
bumped into yous, and I was just like, fuck, like it kind of shows what kind of person you are for you to be able to just like just walk with this random young dude who you felt needed someone to talk to, and then you just talked about whatever you guys talked about, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, fuck, that's mean as like we need more people like that who are like, just willing to give someone the time of day, because that, like that split second, if you had turned him away,
Mm,
down at Edith Hopper, it could have been like a completely different story, like that could have been like his last straw. But,
yeah,
something about you fucking connected, or something happened, and, the fucking universe aligned for that one moment kind of shit. And like it could have been like a life changing moment for him, In his head, he could have been like, fuck, there is actually still decent people in this world, And that's
yeah,
what I was thinking about on my way home. Like, fuck, she probably doesn't even know. She might have somewhat an idea on what impact she had on that kid's life, but, like in my head, I was like, fuck, she probably doesn't even know, how much of an impact she probably made on that kid's day. And I was like, fuck, that's mean. Like, we need more people like that who are just willing to, like, take the time of day with people through, like, the smallest of conversations. And I was
yeah.
just like, like that made me want to get you on the pod even more. So it's fuzzy to hear that you were like overthinking, thinking that seeing you in that situation, you'd probably be like, fuck, he probably doesn't want me on the pod anymore. Because in my head, I was like, fuck, that's cemented the spot even more, kind of thing. And I was just buzzing out. But yeah, no, that's definitely me, Like I said, we definitely need more people like that, Who are
Yeah,
just keen to empower, um,
yeah, and just
just
like how
randomly.
generation and like yeah, because that's like definitely something I want to do. Because like even when that guy was talking to me, he was like about like his life and like whatever he was going through. He was like,
Yeah,
and then I was like, wow, like I literally have been through this pretty much the same shit like that you've been
yeah,
through, and I was like, and that's why like I really want to help people because before like a few years ago, like I was in a really dark place and
yeah,
it was a shit show.
yeah,
It's, like mentally, it's just like it's so sad. But then like now I'm in a way better like position and like I'm in a way better place to like I look after myself now,
yeah,
like I'm all good most of the time.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, so now like I've like got out of my dark hole and like I'm like way better now and I like don't have those dark thoughts or anything anymore. And now
yeah,
I'm like ready to like help people like our generation or like anyone really just to like,
yeah,
because it does suck when you're going through it like by yourself and you
yeah,
feel so alone and you're like the only one on this planet and like,
yeah.
yeah, it's good to like listen to other people's story and
Mm,
like it's all good. Like it's all good, bro. Like I got you.
yeah,
Want to rant or catch up, like watch a movie or I can just chill, like do whatever.
yeah,
I don't mind.
yeah, yeah. Hard because like even that, like everyone's gonna have bad days. Like even like the fucking people who like even the wealthiest of cunts. Even dudes who don't have any like financial problems, or they got a house, they got a family and shit like that. Even those dudes still have bad days. And it's just I don't know. Like I feel like people who have gone through some shit have like a shit radar, where they can like detect other people that have gone through shit. And like I feel like that's why like like I tend for myself that I tend to gravitate a lot more towards like the broken souls, because my soul's been broken before, kind of shit. So like I feel like I just simultaneously just like gravitate to them without even like wanting to, like kind of like magnets, and
Yeah,
I feel like it was kind of like maybe same with you and the young bro there. It's like there was just you can't help but for magnets to come together, like even if you try like it just makes the magnet even stronger. So it's just kind of like the universe sort of just came to that one point to have you talk to that dude, but to have him tell a story and then be able to relate to it, that's something completely different as well. And like you said, like you then realize that you're not the only one going through that bullshit, because there's other people who have gone through similar, you know, who are still struggling with that stuff as well. And it's just like, fuck, man, like, a lot of us just, I feel like a lot of us just tend to get caught up in our head and just think that we're the only ones, eh? But
Oh,
it's definitely not true, you know? Because,
yeah.
like, what sort of made you want to, like, come onto the podcast? Because obviously, like, you said that you've had, like, you know, I guess the past or whatever. You know, you've gone through a bit of shit that we'll probably dive into in a little bit. But, you know, like, what was sort of like your main motivation, or what sort of made you or gave you the sort of like thing to reach out and want to jump on here?
Yeah. Well, first, like, because like when you said earlier, like Coasty, like I've like kind of known you, like I've seen you around, and like
Yeah,
you know, mutual friends and stuff.
yeah,
So it's like that was like if I didn't know you, I probably wouldn't have messaged you because I'm a little
yeah,
scared. and
yeah,
then, and then yeah, like what you're like wanting to do to like for yourself and for others, like you know, and
yeah,
like just what you're doing in general was like literally like that's how I'm trying to be as well. Like lately, I'm trying to like I don't know, it's just like new energy, like new vibe.
mm,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, and then I was like, yo, like I'm pretty sure we're on the same buzz. Like, let's
yeah,
you know, just have like a little corridor, or you know,
yeah,
because like, it's cool to like chat about, you know, just have like a little chat. Because I
yeah,
don't know, it's so nice like afterwards, and it's like, oh, like I feel like a little weight like lifted off my shoulders, or like
yeah,
even if I need to have like a Angus rant, or like have like a
yeah,
soda and like just let it out. It's like all good, and then afterwards I'm like, yeah, I need a nap now, and then I wake up all good.
yeah, yeah. Hard, because like even fuck, man, like even for myself, it was just kind of I know exactly what you mean, because I can't explain what feeling made me want to do this, but I know that there was a fucking change that happened that, like, you know, like you said, like boosted my energy, you know, made me feel better, you know, like it just changed the whole course of my life. Where, like, I just started looking after myself a bit more, you know, started, you know, like you mentioned for yourself, you know, just a bit more self care started happening and stuff like this, and then it just got to a point where, like, it was like I couldn't contain it. I couldn't contain, like, the shit. Like, I knew that, like, I was going through like a transition, and it was like at a point where, like, kind of like a butterfly, eh? Like, it's a weird analogy, but, you know, like, I was like stuck in a cocoon, eh? And I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help out. I was just too scared, and I was fucking, you know, I was thinking about everyone's opinions and what everyone, like, especially my mates, you know, people close to me. I was
Mhm.
like, fuck, you know, like, what if they're like, what if I tell them or show them what I want to do, and then they're like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You know, that'd fucking break me. So I was like, this little butterfly in this cocoon, and then I was just like, fuck it. And I was just like, I need to do something, because I'm sick of talking to myself in my head. You know, I need
Yeah.
to get it out and just get it out on anything. And then, yeah, that's when the like pod came to my head, and I was like, fuck it. You know, like, I'd said it before, like in another pod, like, I was shit at being on camera, and I was shit at opening up and talking about my problems. You know, I'm all good with talking about other people's problems, but, you know, my problems, you know, it's a bit different. So I thought I'd like jump on the camera and, you know, open up about just random shit. But
Mm.
it's definitely like, once you hit that point where you know that you're like now sitting on like a higher frequency than you were before, it kind of makes you want to, like, it gives you like a different drive, I reckon, eh? Do you feel like you've got like this little like fire burning inside you, and you're just like, fuck, I need to fucking do this, I need to do that, I just want to help out, I want to fix this person, I want to save his life, I want to fucking, you know, kind of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it feels like a ball of like good like good energy, you
Yeah,
know, like even I've had like been like negative as and like had negative energy like
mm,
before. Now I'm like, nah, I want to be positive. I want to spread like love and like happiness and just like
yeah,
positive vibes. And yeah, like you're saying, you know, I just want to help people and like just help everyone. Like even at Mahi, like I'm just like, yo, like I've got a free day, like chuck me on if you need me. Like it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that feeling though, because even like when it comes to like my family, because growing up, my aunties and stuff have like always spoiled like all of us, and
Mm.
now I'm old enough to like, you know, like I've got my own money and like I can like afford to like buy them some little gifts and stuff. So I just like go out and like buy a few goodies and like some chocolates and a little goodie bag, write a little card. Because I feel like the little things, like even like writing a card, like
Yeah.
writing it on the card to that person, it's like, I don't know, to me that's like, I love that because it's like the
Yeah.
little things,
Yeah.
but you know, goodies. And then, yeah, and then like I just give it to them and like dropped it off, like because it was my auntie's birthday and during lockdown, and like because she still lives with my nana, which is her
Yeah.
mum. She's like really old and sick, so I can't.
Yeah.
But I did that anyway. I put her like a little goodie bag and dropped it at her door, and like I couldn't even hug her or like anything because I
Right.
felt, yeah, I know it was pretty shitty, but
Yeah.
like stayed our distance and like we had a little chat and like yeah, it was still like nice as I got to even go there to like
Yeah.
see her in face to face because even she can't see anyone. She has like, you know, a kid and grandkids, but that's all good for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it feels I have like such a good feeling like after I've done that, like, you know, like oh, like I just like put a smile on their face or
Mm.
you know, I just like help
Empowers
them,
you. Eh?
yeah, like or like, you know, I just helped them put the groceries in the car and they like appreciated it. So that just made me like, oh yo, like, yay.
Yeah. Hard. But like that's it too, is like once you start doing like these little things, it starts getting entwined into your routine, eh? And
Yeah.
then once it becomes entwined into your routine and you stick with that routine, it then becomes a trait, you know? And then it's just something that you always do, you know, whether you're thinking about it or not, you know, you're always doing little things for people like, oh, I'll carry your shopping to your car or,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
even like shit like holding the door open for someone.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I like kind of grew up with like my family was like pretty hard on like respect and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, like yeah.
um, I sort of been thinking like while we were talking just then is like, you know, like you said that you're pretty much born on the coast kind of thing, you know, but I'll be interested into like finding out what your life was like growing up on the coast as like a youngin, as like a little kid and shit like that. And, you know, like the struggles you found growing up on the coast that like affected you and turned you, well, molded you into the person you are today. Because I know for me, like when I moved to the coast, you know, I was just a little fucking mongrel, you know, but the coast molded me, you know, like as the years went on and I started like, I guess like changing myself from, you know, like a Hastings little like puppy, you know, it molded me
Yeah.
into like, you know, this fucking coastie, you know, so it'd be interesting to see like what it was like for you growing up and how it's molded you into like who you are today.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, so like yeah, I think we moved to the coast when I was like 1 or 2. So like I don't even remember like, you know, before that or
Yeah.
even younger. So yeah, like I went to school on the coast. I went to Stanmore Bay Primary, then
Yeah.
oh, did you go there?
Yeah. Hard.
Oh, I don't know if I remember you there, but and then I went to Whangaparaoa Primary,
Yeah.
which schools, and then I went to Whangaparaoa College, and then yeah, then there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then like, because you know the coast is like kind of pretty small, so like everyone like
Yeah.
grows up with each other, and like we all
Yeah. Yeah.
and like neighbors, and I don't know, like your
Yeah.
parents' friends, like they come around, you know, you get to know the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like yeah, my dad, he's like Raiders, and because my parents they grew up.
He's an OG Raider, eh? Fuck, man.
Don't
He
even call
represents.
me Benny, eh? but yeah, and then because my parents grew up on the shore, like Birkenhead. So my
Yeah.
dad's also from the Northcote Tigers. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
me and my sister were little, we were like, when like my dad would have us, he would like take us to the shore to like the Tigers Club, and like the parents would like get on the piss, and we'll just like fuck around with like the other kids, and
Yeah,
yeah. And then I kind of know. Well, I knew people from the shore like back then, and then now that I'm older, I'm 23 now. Like those shore people are starting to like pop up in my life. It's like, oh, Buzzy, like, and my dad knows them because I won't remember.
yeah.
Like he literally knows so many people. It's so weird. And then, like for example, my boyfriend is working with like someone that we grew up with on the shore, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so you're the one that like buzzed us with like the chewing gum, the chewing gum thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Such a little shit. He's so good. But yeah, and it's just like, oh well, like I don't know. I feel like you were saying before, like the whole universe, like
Mm,
in like such a small world as well. Because I feel like it is such a small world.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but like growing up on the coast, I don't know. It's like having like a second family. Like when you have like your group of like your clique of friends, and like
Yeah.
you just like you guys click on like pretty much everything, or and you just like hang out pretty much every day, like during school, after school, and like on the weekends, like I'll literally just hang out with them all the time. It was so weird. And then we like all grew up together, which was cool. And
Yeah.
then I was in like a 5-year relationship when I started when I was like 14. I know it was like really long, and I was so
Yeah.
young, but we were like on and off. But I don't know. I guess like going through like relationships at a really young age is like I would not recommend.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Nah, it's like it's cute and stuff, and like you guys think you're so in love and all this shit, but
Yeah.
then and now that I'm like older and like my brain's like kind of more developed, maybe.
Mm.
I like I learn more things in life, and like I get to experience the real world now because like my
Yeah.
head, like and like get to meet more people because like back then I thought I was just like like us two against the world, and
Yeah, yeah.
like he was my only like friend and whatever. And now I'm older and I'm like, and I look back and I'm like, oh wow, like I still wouldn't like take it like I love that time and those
Yeah.
moments and memories. I wouldn't take it back for anything, but I reckon it does like those times and those moments really do like it really like teaches you a lesson, I reckon.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's just like so much shit, and we were so young and we didn't know like what we were doing,
Yeah.
and like growing up through like going through puberty as well, and so we're
Mm.
obviously gonna have like changes. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I guess that's when I like started to like have like mental problems myself as well. So
Mm.
uh, and then so I guess like I reckon that was like probably one of my hardest times like in my
Is
life.
when you went through the breakup. Because it would have molded you from like, like the innocent version of yourself into the cold hearted version of yourself, where you started looking at life completely differently, like everything's fake. After that first, I guess, like your first love or whatever, and like you said, you're, pre-planning all this fucking shit, in your head, like you guys are gonna get married and stuff like that, and then when it doesn't fucking work out, that's when your head starts fucking taking a taking a turn for the worst, and you start looking at everything and everyone like, like they're fake. Like all of a sudden, like love, just every love from your parents, from your friends, from your siblings or whatever, it all ends up looking fake to you somehow, and you start looking at people a little bit differently because someone that you invested your all into has now like fucking ran away with like half of your mind, body, and soul, and now you're just fucking kind of like stressing out and just, I guess, lashing out because of the broken heart, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're so right about all of that. Like, because like even when we like see each other like in public, or like if we're like at a gig or a concert, and like I don't know, like we accidentally like bump into each other, we're like, I don't know, like it's such a weird feeling because like we grew up together, and now we're like, because that's like all we've kind of known, you know. Well, to me,
Yeah, yeah,
and like I feel like we still kind of have that like, you know, mind like in the back of our minds, like, oh shit, like that was like, I don't know how to explain it.
mm,
Like, I don't know, like a memory, and like a lot of years, and like growing up together,
yeah,
like friends and family, like, and like raiders, like just
mm,
like whānau. And now we're like living like our own lives and like doing our own thing. And then like when we see each other in public, we're like, oh shit, like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, you know, like we're still all good. We're like, we're still
yeah.
mates. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like busy as, eh?
It's just different, eh? But
Yeah.
I guess that's just what comes part and parcel with it, eh? Is that, you know, like it'll still be hard. Like it could be like 10 years down the track, eh? And you haven't, you know, and you guys have been split up for ages. But you know, like when you guys see each other, you guys will still somewhat be, you guys will still somewhat be like all good, but not fully all good, you know? There'll still be like somewhat like awkward tension there, even like 10 years down the track. But I feel like it won't be until like you both are like fully happy within yourselves and accept within yourselves that you guys are happy for what happened, but now you guys are like, you know, got past that, you guys are living your separate lives and stuff. It's like when you guys will be able to see each other without having that awkward tension, you know. But like you said, because you guys were together for so long and shit, that it would be, you know, like as soon as you see each other, you'll be like, fuck, I wonder if he's got like a new girlfriend, or I wonder if he's seeing someone else, or, and he's probably going like, fuck, I wonder if she's got a new girlfriend or new boyfriend, I should say, or you know, I wonder if she knows about my new, you know, my new girlfriend, or you know, there'll
Yeah.
just be all these instant questions. I bet you, like when you see each other, it's like kind of like, fuck, 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 fuck. Hey, how are you? Fuck, it's good to see you, kind of thing. But I feel like that only becomes big. That's only because of you guys are still dealing with the fact that you guys are living separate. You know,
Mm.
I reckon that's probably a lot of the reason. And it's not until like we're older, like, you know, like 30, 40, where you can like see your parents with like their ex mistresses or ex boyfriends and shit, and you know they got their kids, and now you know like these two partners that used to be partners are now split up, but they're friends, and their kids from different partners are now playing with each other and shit like that. You know, it's just part of that maturity, but also the
Yeah.
understanding, the understanding of like that you go through that sort of shit, you know.
Mm.
Because
That,
even at 25, I still don't understand heaps of shit.
oh yeah. Like I'm still learning shit every single day. When I do learn it or like figure it out, I'm like, oh, like I didn't know that. And like, you
Yeah,
know, and like even like older people, like even my parents and like, you know, my family is all like people at like customers like that come into work, they're like, oh really? Like I didn't know that. I'm like, "Oh, I just taught you something." But yeah,
hard.
it's cool to like, yeah, because that's what like I also want to do. Like obviously after all this like COVID stuff, when we can get out, like it's like one of the main reasons I want to like travel the world and like learn about like different cultures and like people and like how
Yeah,
they live their lives over like where they live, you know? Because I think
yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
yeah, hard.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking definitely like life changing experience, eh?
Yeah. And then you can
Definitely.
like back home and be like come back to your family and stuff and be like, oh, like look at what I just did, like, and then like teach them like stuff that, you know, and then yeah,
Yeah,
can't wait.
hard. But fuck, you know, like how you were talking about how your relationship fucking, you know, sent you into like a dark space. You know, because I like a lot of people, like you probably see it within like heaps of people around you too, when they, you know, like get into relationships and they break up and they get into like this dark space. You know, like it's always seems to be like after a relationship, everyone gets into like these dark spaces. You know, including myself. And you know, and it's good to see that like now you're at a point where you said that you're starting to like see the brighter side of the days again, and shit like that. And you know, like during your sort of like harder times, I guess, and with like dealing with the breakup and stuff. Like, how do you even deal with the breakup?
Yeah, well, I don't even know why. Like, it was because, yeah, like me and my ex, we left on like pretty bad terms. Like, because it was just like like, it was pretty toxic, our relationship. So it was just like
Yeah,
load of built up caca, like in a pile.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
just exploded and we both exploded. And we were like, well, I was like, I've had enough. Like, I'm done, pretty much.
yeah,
But my mind, like, yeah, my whole body and mindset like switches. I'm like I know that I can do way better than this. Like, I'm still young, yeah. I was only
yeah,
like 18 or 20, and I was like, you know, I'm only 20 years old. I've still got like my whole bloody life to live
yeah.
and like meet like so many other people. And then, but yeah, like what did I do? I don't know, because like when I was in that relationship, I felt so bad because like my friends and like my actual like genuine friends as well. Like
Mm,
whenever we had like planned to like go hang out or like go have a catch up, like, you know, go shopping or go have a drink,
yeah,
like we would make the plans or and then when the time came near, I was like I'd always just be like, oh hey, sorry, like I'll just always make up excuses just to hang out with, you know, my boyfriend
yeah,
at the time.
yeah,
Like looking back now and even like earlier, like after we broke up, or even like at that time, I still felt like so shit and I felt like such a bad person. And
yeah,
like it was because like the amount of times I did it, it was so bad. And then like I lost those friendships because of like just what I did. And
yeah,
then after I like broke up with him, I was like, oh crap, I've only got like one or two like close friends now that I can like go
mm,
to for, like a catch up or like, you know, someone to talk,
mm,
you know, all the shit that I just went through. And then so that was pretty hard. And like because, you know, I'm like such an introvert, I won't go or like I won't even message someone because like my
yeah,
mind is just such an overthinker. I won't even message anyone to be like, oh hey, like how are you doing, like what are you up to these days, you know? So
yeah,
I only like go to like my really close friends. And then yeah, and that like really helped me because they like knew when they just like
mm,
looked at my like they could tell that I was going through a really shit time.
yeah,
And then yeah, I was living at home at the time with my mum and my sister, and like they obviously knew what was going on, but
yeah,
at the time I didn't like to talk to anyone about anything really, like my real personal shit.
mm,
I really just like kept it all into myself. But at that time I didn't know how to like, you know, like figure out the problem or like help myself, you know, like I
yeah,
didn't know how to get out of it. And then yeah, after a while I like had to go to like counseling and stuff, and even that I like was still in like a really tight locked up shell and it took me forever to open up. But
mm,
I would 100% recommend that because that was like the first step that helped me like to become who I am now.
yeah,
And holy moly, I'm so grateful for my counselor. She's so cool. She's amazing. And
yeah,
it's such a small world, like coming back to that, because she my counselor and my mum actually worked together in the past. And then my mum, like I told my mum about it. And then she was like, oh, her, like I used to like work with her. I was like, are you joking? So then that made me more like, oh shit, like you guys know each other. Like I don't want to open up now, you know?
yeah,
And then And then yeah, like we got to know each other and like we had a laugh and like she's so lovely. And then I really opened up and it feels so good. And like, you know, every time like after our appointment ended, I'd be like so excited for the next week coming for like our next appointment because, you know, it really helped. And like even like the next day I would go back to like a negative vibe, you know? That's how bad it was. But yeah, just like having like a good like your good people around you, like a good support system and really like getting like I know it's hard, but get out of bed and like even go for a walk to the dairy or like the beach. Like for me, like, nature is like I love nature and like the beach, like going for a walk in the bushes or something like I don't know, 'cause it's like really fresh and like fresh air. Like, you know, when I like walk on the streets, I just feel like I'm breathing in like pollution or something. But yeah, so, yeah, and then just like taking care of yourself, like, because like when I was younger, like that's when social media kind of like started to like become a thing, and I was like, like at that time, I was like, you know, like I was on my phone 24/7, and now I'm like, it's like life. This isn't living. Like, so back then, yeah, like I spent so much time on my phone, so yeah, like try not to like, you know, go on the socials and because some of the stuff is so negative that you see as well. And it's just and then it like after you read it and then you like I don't know, if you're an overthinker like me, you just like get stuck and then it's just like, oh now I don't want to go out or I don't want to go get a feed or I don't want to go you know.
Straight up. But like one thing fucking I picked up during your talk was that, you know, like one thing that I feel like a lot of people can relate to is when friendships get affected by the relationship, you know, like the boyfriend will either start taking up too much time with the girlfriend and then the girlfriend's probably taking up too much time of, you know, the boyfriend's time. But, you know, like I feel like at the end of the day, a real one, eh? A real friend, like a real one, like what's a mate that's fucking solid will still be there, whether you're distant or not, you know? Like I feel like, you know, like of your mates are like because in my when I was younger, you know, like I had some troubles with that shit where like, you know, fucking one of my mates, like especially like my bro Putty, like when he ended up with his missus Tristan that he's what with now, like they've been together for like ages and ages since like fucking I don't even know how long now. You know they got like a kid and shit. But when she first came into the scene, like me and Putty were like fucking like twins, eh? You know, like people used to think that we were like twins, you know.
Yeah.
And we were together fucking every single day, you know, like for ages. And then when she came along, you know, like I started seeing like the distance, you know, like happening, and I started fucking freaking out. And I like, you know, I got upset. I got upset, and I was like, "Fuck you, Tristan." You know, fuck Putty doesn't even like you. Doesn't even want to fucking be with you, and fucking all this fucking bullshit, you know. And I was like wasted as too. I was wasted as on the phone, like fuck, you know, like pretending to like. I was like the boyfriend, like the drunk boyfriend. I was like, "You're not taking my man away from me," like. You know, I was just fucking going hard and shit. And I was like, you know, Putty's parents don't even like you, fucking all this crazy shit. And then, like, you know, like, it fucked me up for ages that, like, I had actually got to the point where I was, like, verbally abusing, you know, my mate's missus on the phone because I was so fucking butthurt that, you know, he had found something special, you know, kind of shit. And, you know, like down the track, I ended up fucking like apologizing and shit. I was like, fuck, man, like I'm so fucking sorry. Like, You know, like obviously you knew how close me and Putty were, and then you know, just explained to her like what I was actually feeling and what was going on in my head like during that moment and shit. And then she was like, "Fuck," you know, like I understand, you know, like it's all good, you know, like she was fucking yeah, she was just like she's been like because she's nice as she's actually like a fucking nice ass person, you know. I was just being an asshole kind of shit. And then like, you know, she was like comforting, she's like, no, don't be sorry, blah blah blah, you know, I understand, you know, you were drunk, you know, you were fucking blah blah blah. And I was like, nah, you know, like I genuinely like fucking, you know, didn't like you in that moment, you know, kind of shit. And I meant everything that I said, but now that I'm like come back from it and I'm like, fuck, you know, I should have just been happy for my mate, you know? And that's what we should be like of our mates are in like relationships and it is creating like a distance. Obviously like that person is important enough for them to allow that distance to be created. Because if they weren't, you know, then you guys would still be hanging out every day and whatnot. But it's only solid, real ones who stick around, you know, at the end of the day. And I'm just happy that, you know, like, it's been fucking years and years now. Like, I fucking rate Tristan. She's fucking goddess bitch and shit, you know, like, everything like that, everything good. But yeah, I was just buzzing out when you're like talking about that and how it affected your relationship because I know that there's so much relationships out there that friendships get affected by the relationship. But I feel like we need to understand that, you know, if it is something that could be pure or something that could be good, you know, just accept it and don't fucking like try fucking you know leave them or like oh fuck that fucking bitch you know she's just always with her fucking boyfriend you know she doesn't want to be our friend or any whatever you know like all that type of shit because like I said before like it will fucking let you know who your real mates are you know
Yeah.
at the end of the day like and like you said you know when you needed a shoulder or needed an ear to talk to you know there was only a couple friends there out of you know like how many that you had beforehand and it's just like I feel like for a lot of youths out there especially because it tends to be when we're younger and we're trying to fucking learn how to understand shit is that you know you need to understand that your mate's not going to be fucking taken away from you forever. You're still going to see them. Obviously, it's not going to be as much, but if they got a good thing going, you know, you should be supporting that. If you're a true mate, if you're a real friend or a real homie or whatever, you know, you should be going, fuck, I'm so glad that you found someone, bro. You know, I hope it goes well for you, you know. I understand that like things are gonna, you know, change a little bit due to this, but you know, just know that doesn't matter how far we come apart or how close we stay, you know, my feelings and my thoughts and everything else is still gonna remain the same, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So true. Yeah, even when I was like with my exes or like even in like my relationship now, I'm like, oh, like even like I mean, like when we first started dating, like because you
Mm,
know, it's like the happy, like oh, I want to see you all the time stage,
yeah,
and then they don't like go have time to see their other friends.
yeah,
But no, I know exactly what you mean though, because like my ex, I mean, yeah. Sorry, we would just like always be spending literally like 24/7 together,
yeah,
and like he had bros, like he had heaps of bros, and like I had like you know girlfriends and like
yeah,
mates as well. And like I wanted to see my friends too, and I know that he and like his friends wanted to see him,
yeah.
but I don't know. We just get like,
Love bugging.
yeah. We just like want to see each other all the time, and like, when we do see each other all the time, it gets to a stage where it's like fucking boring, and we're like sick of each other's shit, and like,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
that's starts to become like a toxic, shitty thing, because
Mm,
you know, and then yeah, and like I did feel really bad for like thing and like I did like keep it and like keep him and like stay home with me sometimes and you
yeah.
know like go see the boys like stay home with me but and I did feel like real wretched
Yeah,
maybe not at that time but like even like now and like later down the track I was like oh shit like that was like real wretched and like selfish of what I did like
mm,
he's his own person. Like now I realize this. Like he's his own person. He can do whatever he wants, you know. Like I shouldn't. Yeah, like that's the kind of boat that I'm on now. Like I'm starting to figure out like what I want to do with my life and like, you know, like do my own thing as well as have a relationship and like be together and build our relationship because it's good. But like we can still like do our own thing and like live our own lives and like see our friends, you know. Yeah, because it's so good and it's so important to have other people around you like in your life as well, not just that one person, because I think if something like unexpected happens or, you know, if you guys break up then and you guys have been like just been together like every day like of your guys' relationship, and then if it's been like years down the track and then you've like lost connections with like your old mates or your bros, and then like after you guys break up it'll just be so much harder to like, you know, connect back with your old mates or it's, I don't know, it's just such an awkward thing for me anyway. Like, I don't know.
I definitely think it's like comes with age though as well, you know, just like you like said in the earlier starts of the episode was, you know, like being you know, so young, that you don't understand fuck all. Plus you're going through like puberty and all this other crazy shit, like plus you're just trying to figure out life as well, you know? And it's like kinda like fuck man. Fucked you up. But, you know, like
and then you have to figure it all out in like one day. I'm like, what?
yeah,
How?
fuck yeah. But like you said, like it's not until like down the track that you're able to look back at it now and you're like, fuck, no, I was doing this wrong, but they were doing this wrong. And you know, you're able to like look at it not just everything that you done, but everything that you both contributed to the toxic relationship, you know, kind of thing. And it's just one of those things that like I guess that's why it's good to like jump on shit like this, and if young bucks are listening to it, you know, they can take a little bit of something away from it, kind of thing. And it's yeah, because I feel like, you know, when it comes to like the relationship side of things, everyone's quite similar. You know, everyone always has a first love. Everyone always has that first breakup, and everyone always goes through the shit mental side of it when that breakup happens. You know, so like just bringing it to light and just understanding or helping people understand that, you know, there is going to be a time where you understand the shit that you don't understand at the moment, but just understand that it's going to take time to be able to understand that, you know. And it was like good that you that like even through the shit with the breakup and how it was like damaging you, you know, it was good to see that you managed to get onto a path where you ended up going through like the healing side and you ended up getting into the therapy and shit like that, you know? Because, like, in my head, like, when I was going through, like, my fucking worst shit that I was going through, like, the last thing I was thinking about was opening up and talking to, you know, like, I wasn't even keen to talk to my mates, let alone, like, a therapist, you know? So I just fucking grab the bottle and the bong and I'll just go hard, you know? Talk to
Yeah,
those instead, talk to myself.
yeah. I'm the same way. Like, yeah, because like I grew up, like I started smoking weed at a young age, and then like yeah, then like after my relationships and like all my friendships like kind of ended, I was like, oh yo, like this is a thing that like gives me buzz and like makes me happy for like a while, and then you know like I'll do it over,
Yeah.
just repeat, and then like back then I was young, I didn't know what I was doing, and then you know, and that's probably one of the things that also made me like really depressed and like, you know, really like in my dark thoughts, because that was like my friend.
Yeah,
Saying,
hard.
yeah. But now, and that was also really hard to get out of, like, you know, the whole drug thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like I was addicted to it, and like it was like a good time at the time. But now I'm like, nah, like I do it like just at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But,
same with me though. I'm same
yeah,
with you.
yeah, it's on it.
Yeah. But like
Yeah,
that's the thing is like, I dropped all the drinking and like the fucking smoking ciggies and vaping and like fucking getting on the niffs and like getting fucking MD'd out and shit. Like I dropped all that shit and I just told myself like, I've got 6 fucking habits and addictions. I need to fucking pick one because this shit's expensive. I was like,
yeah,
fuck, this shit is fucking expensive, and it's putting me into like financial ruin, which is also fucking up my brain. I'm like, fuck, man, I need to fucking just pick one and then regulate that one. So I just picked weed, I just smoke up, but it's not until like I get home from mahi and shit, I might fucking have a quick one before I go for a workout and shit like that. Make a feed and shit, and then I'll go down, have another one, fucking do some editing and shit like that. It's not like where back in the day I'll just sit there for hours
yeah.
and hours, just bong after bong after bong, and I'm just fucking
And then like
editing.
fall asleep, mega monkeys.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly what you mean. Like, I'm the same. Like, I do the shit that I have to do. Like in the morning, I get up, do the shit I have to do, like mahi or whatever, and
yeah,
then after all that's done, I come home. Like, same thing. I have a shower, like sit down, relax, have a view, have dinner,
mm-hmm.
another one,
Yeah,
and pass out, and then because like like you said, it like for me, it actually helps me like relax my brain
yeah,
and
fuck yeah, straight up.
like I stress so much, it's not cool.
Yeah,
So and then like if I sound like a fiend to my boyfriend, like, oh, like can we just go home first so I can like have
yeah,
a and then we can go like have fun or like go out or
yeah,
whatever. And then like but he doesn't understand because he's him.
yeah,
But yeah, and that's fine. Like I don't expect everyone to understand because they're not me and I'm not them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I really give two shits
yeah,
because it
yeah.
helps me to like not function, but you know,
Mm,
function.
yeah,
But yeah, like it actually does, like literally helps most of the
yeah,
time. I'm all good with it. Mhm.
yeah. I'm definitely like the same. Like when I was younger, I used to fucking like abuse it. But nowadays, I use it more as like a mechanism to like keep me fucking through all the stressful shit. Because like
Yeah,
I'm like you. Like my fucking brain's always running at like 1,000 like thoughts per minute kind of shit, and I'm just like, fuck. And when I'm stoned, like that's the only time that I'm actually able to like slow everything down and actually think about what I'm gonna say or think about shit that I'm gonna do. Because like before getting stoned, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna do this, and this, and this, and then like like almost like pre-planned nothing, and then like at least like when I get stoned, like I'm like, wow, fuck, now that I'm in like a chill mind state and I'm not overthinking shit, I wouldn't have been able to get all that shit done, and I would have just stressed out, and I would have just fucking, hated myself because I wasn't able to accomplish all these fucking ridiculous goals that I was setting out, because my mind's always fucking
all
just
over.
running at it like a fucking, just, I don't know, it's always just fucking going, and I'm like,
No,
fuck.
I feel you on that or like straight up, like I feel the exact same, like and now everyone's like to me like if I've had a long day or like I'm stressed about something and I just chatter and
Yeah,
I never used to be like that. Like when I was depressed and shit, I was like a closed locked up book. I wouldn't
yeah,
say a word. And then now I'm out of that depression and I went through like a kind of manic stage, but no
mm,
one myself I didn't know what was going on. And then like went to doctors and shit and they were like, oh, they're like they think they'd like diagnose me with bipolar. And I'm like,
yeah,
and like my family were like, bitch, like, no, like what are you talking about? And like they gave me all these fucking dumbass meds and like all my family and like everyone just knew like nah, like those meds ain't helping her, like get the
yeah,
fuck off. It was like it's just making her worse, eh? and then I just got off those ones, and then I like, started, go to therapy and counseling and started seeing mentors and stuff, which really helped. And, just got back on my own buzz and on my own vibe. I didn't want to listen to like doctors that don't even know me and like, because they're like, oh, how do you feel out of 10? I'm like, this, and then they'll like hand you a prescription for medication. I'm like, you don't even like know my story and shit, but all good. And then like coming back to the thing, like if I'm like sober and then like stressing and like my mind like keeps running, and like my family and my boyfriend, they're like, oh, you've like been so manic, like calm down and like, like stop talking, and that actually like really hurts because I didn't used to be a talker like this. Like I would be like a quiet little mouse in the corner, like just scrolling on my phone, trying to be like invisible in the room. And I'm like actually trying to like, I don't know, like be myself, I guess, or like I'm trying to open up, but maybe I do it in a way that is like, I don't know, like rude or like I don't think about like what I'm saying or, and
it's more just getting it out, eh?
Yeah, because my brain is just like thinking of so many things and I just spit it out and I'm like, oh, I didn't actually have to say that, but I did. And then that's why like I have to like have a cone, so then my brain shuts up and then I just chill and I like, go back to myself, or, again. And I just and like, and then they judge me for like looking stoned. I'm like,
what? At least I'm not fucking talking your ear off, you know? You complained to me that I was fucking a chatterbox and now you're complaining that I'm not talking enough. Like, what the fuck?
like, yo.
It's like, fuck. But yeah, nah,
That's why I don't
I
give a
feel
shit
you on that hard.
because it's like my drug or my medicine because I realize that it actually helps me, I don't abuse it like you were saying before. I don't abuse it like I used to, but I don't know. I guess everyone just has to find their own and like niche thing, or I don't know the word, but like meditating and like yoga really kind of helped me a lot actually. Like even if you just type on YouTube or something like nighttime meditations or like I don't know, like positive affirmations, like and you just fall asleep, like you just get comfy and you just listen and it helps like become a habit as well. Like if you listen to it every night and then it helps your brain to like slow down and like relax and just actually listen. And then listen to the like podcast or whatever it is and then you take it in and you're like, oh shit, like that's so true, or oh fuck, like I didn't know that, but now I know. Yeah.
Definitely, eh? And like you were saying about like the prescriptions, eh? Fuck, I'm not about the prescriptions, eh? Like,
it's bullshit.
fuck, I think it's just fucked, eh? Like, I feel like, like there's obviously people out there with like depression and anxiety and fucking bipolar and, all these other things that need their happy pill, to fucking, just like what weed does to us, like makes us level, like they need that little happy pill to like make them level, but at the same time, it's not the same as dealing with the trauma and the problem that's actually putting you into this state, like the doctors just look at you like you're a cash cow. And they're like, oh, well, we'll just diagnose them with this, we'll just put them on like a 12-week medical plan, that's $136 a week, like blah, 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 so on and so forth. But, the meds in my head, my opinion, because I've had like a talk about this with someone else and, they're like, nah, fuck, blah, blah, blah. We just didn't agree on like the prescription side of things, but in my head, like, it's only ever going to mask the problem. It's not going to help you deal with the fact that, you had a traumatic past. It's just going to fuck your brain up a little bit so you're not thinking about the traumatic past. But, it's not going to, a pill's not going to help as much as you actually talking to a therapist or something about, fucking being like physically abused by like your dad, always getting beaten up, or being like fucking sexually abused by like your fucking uncle bully, or fucking something else. Like, it's not gonna help you pinpoint, and it's not gonna help you understand the way you're feeling about that traumatic thing that happened. All it's gonna do is just like those fucking masks say, it's just it's kind of like, and that's why like I don't like the prescriptions, is because you have to take them like what, couple times a day, and then like, I don't know if you watched Kev's pod, but he got on prescriptions, and then he ended up getting addicted to them. And I feel like prescriptions are the worst drugs to get addicted to, because you can get them over the counter. You know, you're not going to get fucking
And for like
10, 20 years for
or
you know
something.
for
Yeah.
fucking having prescriptions, because they're prescribed to you, kind of thing. But pharmaceuticals are just going, yoo, fuck, I got fat pockets while you cunts are just fucking pretending that you're all good, and
Yeah.
just the effects of prescriptions are like no good. Like, just the other day, I was talking to one of the bros about like ADHD, and because he was like he commented on one of my walks and talks with two, and he was like, "Oh, bro, you might have like a bit of ADHD. That may be why your brain's fucking, just non-stop, just always thinking and shit." And I was like, thought about it, because like my fucking outlook on ADHD was like, it was all these other things around it as well, And I was like, and it was him who like broke it down to me and said like, you can have a trait of ADHD, but it doesn't make you ADHD. Like, some people will be diagnosed with anxiety, and then it turns out that they're just anxious. They're just an anxious person by nature. They don't have anxiety; they're just anxious. Just like I'm not ADHD, but I may have like a trait of ADHD, or something like that. And it just like changed my perspective. But he said that around the prescriptions that he was getting with ADHD, it ended up creating like, or enhancing, the other psychological effects around his ADHD. So like, he started taking pills for his ADHD. It calmed him down, but his anxiety started going through the roof. His mental state started depleting and shit like that. I just feel like the prescriptions is, there's way better ways, like you said, like before, like meditation, um, yoga, working out. Even get onto like the herbals, way. Look at like fucking whipping some shit up in the kitchen with some like fucking thyme and some little like leaves from the garden and shit.
And then I started drinking tea, and then I was like, "Oh, this is nice." And then I like had one before bed, and it knocked me out the whole night. Because back then, when I was like depressed and shit, it was really hard for me to go to sleep. So I would take sleeping pills, but then the next morning I'd wake up just wanting to go back to sleep because I was like that tired, and I just wanted to sleep all the time and not do shit. But then like after a week or like a few days, like my mum and like everyone started to notice, but like my mum mostly. And then she's so cute. She like started to like like get a little diary and like write down like the patterns, and because it was a pattern, like now I know that it was.
Yeah.
I think it's like so seasonal as well, like especially like during winter. Pretty shitty outside, like not really sunny, can't really do much. You're just inside. That's when I start to get, stuck in my thoughts because I'm always inside. But I don't know. And then like my mum started to notice that like the pills were making me just feeling like shit, and like I was being really moody and like really bitchy to everyone. Like I just didn't give a shit. And then she's like, "Nah, we need to change that, because we ain't having that." Yeah, right. And then like some pills do work for like some people, like it's obviously
Definitely.
needed, and like like even for like, because it's so like I don't know, there's so much more into it than just like, here you go, and then swallow, you know. Like the brain and like the chemicals in your brain, there's so much science and stuff behind it. But and then like, you know, that's why the doctors think like, oh, you know, just try this, like give this one a go. And just like let us know if it works or not. I'm like, aren't you like kind of supposed to know
Yeah.
I've been nice, you know? Like I don't want to be your test rabbit thing. Anyway, and then that's why I'm like so like annoyed. And then so then my mum helped me like get off like all those pills and stuff, and helped me like cut down on weed as well, because it was probably like, because I was smoking weed and taking the pills at the same time, so it was probably like fucking both of the like my brain as well. And then she was like, nah, cut it all out, and then we'll like start from the beginning pretty much, you know, like even like getting up out of bed to literally just have a shower, you know, like I wasn't even looking after myself. So we like I was reborn again. Did you like from like day one? But nah. And then so like, and I'm so fucking lucky and like grateful. I have so much whānau around me. Like they are like my number one supporters, and like that's like pretty much why I'm still alive, and like that's why I live, is like for my whānau. Like because like when we were growing up as kids, like I have like so many cousins and like, you know, aunties and uncles. We'll just all get together and just like have a fun time. And then now we're older and like, oh, like shit, like we have to figure out like what life actually is, and like, you know, go to work, and now we really get to see each other as much because we're living our own lives. But when we have a shit situation, like, oh, like we have to go to a tangi, or, you know, someone's like had a shit time, like we drop everything and we fucking go see them straight away. Like there's no question. Like doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, we go see them. But that's why I love them and like my people so much, because they support me, and like we just all support everyone. Like there's no hate, it's just like so much love, and that's why
I want to fucking sort of know like a bit more about because I picked up that you said that you wanted to get sort of like more into this sort of like realm of things, you know, with like helping out, maybe, you know, jumping onto like something to do with like helping people out. Like, have you sort of like thought about like maybe a plan, or do you know what I guess department you want to get into around this realm of whatever you want to call it?
the thing. Because like after I finished like my whole thing with the counselling, it's on the coast as well. And then I had another meeting with her like after months and months of like not seeing her, just to like catch up to see like where I'm at now, and like it was just so amazing because I could tell in her eyes and like just like her body language and everything that she was like, wow, Marama, like I'm so fucking proud of you, and like where you are now, and like you know, and that made me so happy because she fucking helped me, bro. Like holy moly. And that's why I help as well. But I was supposed to do like a mentoring thing with them, but then like months and months ago, like this year, and then COVID and lockdown hit, so then it's like it just keeps getting postponed. So I don't even know when that will start. But I was like keen as to like jump on like straight away. But obviously things happen for a reason and stuff, I believe. Like even when you first like shared your story and that you're going to be doing this, I was like, how far, like, so like fucking happy that, you know, like finally like someone's like got some balls and like, you know, starting to like about people and shit. But because I want to do the same thing, you know, like because it is shit, like because you do have to like put on like a mask or like a you know, like a fake face when you do go out to like in public, or like you go to school, your friends or like even your family, like I have to like put on a face. So yeah, and it is hard to even just do that. And then like when you get home and you like go to your room and you know you're like by yourself, you you actually like start to just like live in like your brain and like your thoughts, and
Yeah.
it's up. So yeah, and I really just want to help people that are like experiencing that. Like, and I know it does take so much time and like could take like months, years, or like I don't know, however long. But
Yeah.
you know, like I would like stick with them like all the way through, you know. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
cool to like even like what we were saying earlier, like it's just so cool to like know that you've like accomplished something and like you've helped that person that really needed that help, or even if they
Yeah.
didn't really need help but they still appreciated it, like, you know, it's like, oh, like a
Yeah.
bonus. But yeah, I don't know, like to me I just feel like my heart just feels like really warm and like I just feel like I don't know, like more energy, like more positive energy is like I don't know, like never talk about but like I don't know, like
Yeah.
more like positivity, just
It's
like
just like overflowing, eh?
I'm like, yo, like good vibes, G, like bring
Yeah.
it on,
Yeah.
like I just love it, but because I know what it's like to be negative and being around like your whānau, your friends being negative, and they just
Yeah.
look at you, bitch, fuck off. So, but and I love the buzz I'm on right now, like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Hard. And like, that's the thing too. Is like, you know, what popped into my head while you were talking was that like you were saying that you know you can't really explain what feelings you're having at the moment because you know that it's just like this positive feeling that's overflowing and that it's giving you the drive to want to fucking just do shit or do, you know, all these different types of shit. But, you know, like one thing that popped into my head is that I think I was watching a Mike Tyson podcast and his co-host said, like, read out like a quote or something, and the quote was, a person's life starts when they realize they only have one, you know, which sort of like means like in sort of like for you, if I was to put that metaphor into your life, you know, it's like you went through all this fucking shit when you were younger and you went through that depression stage and anxiety stage and all that stuff after the breakup, and now you're coming out the other end. You know, that feeling you're feeling is the fact that you're now wanting to actually live life. You know, you're actually wanting to do stuff. You want to help people out. You want to just, you know, and that's that feeling that you're feeling inside of you, is like now you understand that you had to go through all that bullshit to get to where you are now. It's kind of like, you know, now you're ready to start living. Now you're ready to fucking grab life by the throat and just fucking, you know, give it a little slap, you know? Because it's like, fuck, because even for myself, you know, with the podcast and shit, is that for a long time I was so fucking caught up in my feelings and all the bullshit. But, you know, like, once I started coming out of the other end and started seeing the light, you know, like, that quote popped into my head and I said, like, a person's life begins when they only realize they only have one, you know. And when I was sort of thinking of that, I was like, fuck, you know, like, well, now that I know that my life's starting, you know, what am I going to do first? And it was starting up the podcast, you know. And then obviously, like, there's so much stuff that will come out in the process and down the track and stuff. But that's how I would explain that feeling, because that's how I explain that feeling for me. Is like, I don't know how to, like, what word or what title to put on that feeling, but I know that I'm just willing to actually start living my life now. You know, I've come out of the other end and I've got to a point where I've realized that we do only have one life. You know, and we have to start making the best, or, you know, making the most out of it before we
Yeah,
fucking get to a point where we can't.
fucking A.
Fuck.
So true, man. And I like straight up fucking like bow down to like what you're doing because fuck, that's so awesome, eh? Like, you know, like we know people that are like
Yeah,
shit that have gone through pretty much
yeah,
kind of the same shit that we go through because, you
yeah,
know. like yeah, like and like we all have like different like childhood like, traumas or experiences that really like stay with us like forever, and we don't know how to like cope with it or like deal with it, you know. So I don't know, like we all have our own issues and dramas, fucked up shit, but yeah, like you're doing, like that's why I want us to like all kind of like come together as like one, and you know, just support and like help each other, because it's so important. And like even like just in New Zealand, like we've lost way too many people to like suicide and you know that kind of shit. So it's so like so sad, so sad.
Well, what do you reckon one of the main like contributors would be to like our country having such a high suicide rate? Eh?
I reckon social media would be one of the things, because like our generation and like younger, like that's social media and like phones and iPhones and iPads and all that shit like first started come out, and you know everyone was like, oh, like I gotta cop that, like I need like I need to be like join the friend, join the gang, you know. And then like get one, and then we're like read or like download all the apps, and you know, like like you and Teddy were talking about, I think in the first episode, like you know, like in school, and you're like, oh, like look at this like photo, you know. And like and then like bullying as well, like it's so sad. Yeah, because I've experienced bullying like primary and intermediate and college, but I was like I did get bullied like throughout primary and shit. And then like when I got older and like intermediate and college, I started to meet new people, and they were like on my kind of vibe during that time as well. And I was like, yo, like we can be like these free bad bitches that just, you know, like, troll around the school like thinking we own this shit. But nah, and then, like, I don't know, like I guess like people change and like our mindset change, and then because I do admit like I hate admitting this, but I have like been mean or like bitchy or rude to like people.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, no, it's wretched. I was thinking about it
We
now,
all
but
have, buddy.
yeah, we have. And then it was like, but I don't know. And then like I don't know. And then after that happened, or like later down the track, I'll like think about it, or like randomly just think of a memory or like a time that I did that, and I'm like, ooh, bitch, like why? Like I'll do that, but nah. I don't know. Like, what's the quote thing? That's like a bully becomes a bully or some shit. I don't know. But
I know what you mean. Yeah, the bullied becomes the bullied.
Yeah. And then like, because like even when you like grow up with like your family or just like people around you in your life, and like even at my stuff and like words or like how people talk like brushes off on you, you know. And then you start to like, even I did this like back in high school and like college, and I was like, oh yo bro, and like you know when like chicks like pretty got everyone bro, and like guys were like ew, can you not? Yeah. Nah, I'm like I don't care still, but yeah, you know. And then like I don't know, like you see someone do it, and you just see it around all the time, and then you're like, oh, I guess I'll do it. But I did it like without even thinking, really, you know, like it just came out, like you know. And then
because it is like a lot of like happens unconsciously, you know, like it's kind of like you do it to like fit in, you know. It's because like you know, like of your of someone in your friend groups bullying someone, and you know you guys are you know cracking up, then like you know you'll be walking around, you know, someday, like it could be like the next week, and then you know just to have like a little chuckle and to make your friends laugh, you know, you'll say something about someone, you know, and it's not like you've said it to that person intentionally or to hurt them, you know, like that person could be like 40, 50 meters away, and you're like look at fucking blah blah blah. Yeah, she's always fucking. Do you hear about what she did on the weekend? Though? I heard she fucking blah blah blah. You know, shit like that. It just happens unconsciously because you know, like we think that that's the norm way. You know, we think that, you know, like because my friend did it last week, you know, and we found it all funny, that I'm gonna do it next week kind of thing. And it's not like you like pre-plan it. It's not like you're like, oh well, she made a joke this week. I'm gonna make sure that I crack one next week. You know, it just happens unconsciously. You know, and like what you were saying before with the you know, like when you're hanging around someone for so long and you start picking up their mannerisms, start talking like them, start, you know, acting like them, start saying their jokes and shit, you know, like that's what we need to do with like this positive side of shit. Is like, you know, the more people around the positive people, the more it's going to rub off and the more that, you know, these people are going to start being positive and then, you know, their next bubble that hangs out with them that I'm not connected to will start hanging out with them and then, you know, they'll start picking up the vibes and shit. Which is like a good point, I reckon, is that like, you know, like we need a like when you're fucking you just have to be aware of the shit you're doing when you're hanging around people because it has a way bigger effect than what we actually think, you know? And if we, you know, fucking walk around just making fun of everyone, you know, obviously it's gonna rub off on the people around us and they're just gonna walk around fucking making fun of people. But if you walk around school and, you know, you're like being positive and you're like complimenting people, then your friends are most likely gonna, you know, start complimenting people. So it's just, you know, just being aware of your surroundings and just being aware of your actions, eh? You know, the things that you're doing and the impact you're having because in your head you might not think that you have any, but you know, little do you know that the people that are around you are feeding off this energy and now they're projecting it out, you know, not just from one person, but now from five multiple different sources. You know,
It's so true.
so it's like kind of like fuck.
No, like I feel like when we were like younger and like at school, we just like like we just picked up on like things like people like our mates would say or like like trying to be the class clown in class and then like we'd all just like hate on the teacher and like find it funny.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And now it's like, oh, what? And now like our kids are gonna do that, No.
yeah.
But
But
yeah.
like, yeah, I guess it's just giving it time. Where like now we can look back at heaps of shit and all the
Mm.
shit that we did when we were younger, and we're like, what the fuck, you know?
Uh,
It's like holy shit. So it's like the youngins out there that like watch this, you know, they just need to understand that, you know, like don't worry about what's going on, you know, just live your life and try to be the best person you can be because, you know, it'll get to a point where it's like me and you when we're sitting here and we're yarning and then we're able to reflect on the bullshit that we did back in the day, but we're able to like break it down into a way where we can interpret it and understand it properly so it doesn't fuck us up, you know? Because
yeah.
like a lot of these kids are probably just fucking, you know, thinking like, well, I feel like we all probably were in a moment in time where we thought that everything was just fucking falling apart. But you know, we gave ourselves time. You know,
Mm.
we gave ourselves time, and now that we've given ourselves that time was able to teach us how to understand that fucking shit that happened, kind of thing. You know, so it's just kind of like for the youths out there, fucking struggling or going through some fucking bullshit or having a rough time at the moment, just know that it's not going to last. And you'll probably look at that situation you're in 10 years down the track and you'll be like, what the fuck? You know, you'll be able to pick out all the bad shit that you were doing, all the bad shit that was happening, but you'll also be able to look at all the positives that you did that got you through that bullshit time or, you know, the positive outcome that you're still around and you're still breathing and you're still able to do shit and give back to the people that you love and shit like that, you know? But
Yeah.
you know, what would your final message be for anyone who's needing a message right now?
Trust the process and literally just trust everything around you and like there's so many like resources and people and support like there's actually like good like phone numbers and like people like youth lines that you can actually call up or just like message and be like, hey, like I'm actually going through like a real rough time, or like I need help with something, like I'm stressed out, or you know, like anything. Like that's their job, to like help people like us to like get through those shit times, you know, like I was on a phone call for like half an hour like a few weeks ago. I was just like I just had like a stressful day or like a stressful week, and that half an hour phone call literally just changed my whole mood and my whole mindset. And like I couldn't even thank him enough. I was so grateful, and like straight up, it's the best shit like ever you can do. Is like, oh, like just talking to someone. Like,
Yeah.
and I know it's so hard to open up about your personal shit. Doesn't even have to be personal, but
Nah.
just like have a cordial or like a little yarn or chat was literally
Yeah.
anything. Like it doesn't even have to be someone you know. It could be like a fucking stranger. Like hit me up.
Yeah.
I don't mind helping. Literally, just yeah. Like you've got this. Trust me.
Yeah.
Turn on the radio.